Well, I am hearing some rumblings about The Handmaid's Tale, that it did not wrap up very well. Laura from Wellington said the series finale episode for Handmaid's Tale was so anticlimactic and disappointing. I'm just curious if anybody else feels the same way. I've been hearing about this show for years now, as people have been talking about it. I've never invested in it, but I do know it's very popular.
We trashed it once, and we got some pushback on that.
A lot of avid fans of it.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. But it sounds like even the fans are turning on it. Another comment that just came in via text says, Handmaid's Tale finale was huge disappointment. I understand they have a spinoff coming, but man, so much time, years invested in this amazing show, and they never should have even shown that last episode. Just a whole hour of my life wasted. It never should have been made. It was more disappointing than Bloodline, the show that I rail on, because 2 amazing seasons, and now they blew their whole 3rd season, I would say. But, I mean, that's pretty incriminating. It sounds like multiple people are talking about how awful it was. And that's why I've told you so often now, I am so skittish on jumping into any show because of the time and the investment you can put into it. And then if you have that in your head of how it ended, I would rather, for instance, for me, the TV show Dexter, I had heard that the last season, don't even bother with, you're going to be so disappointed. So I dropped off at a point where I'm like going, okay, it ended there in my mind. If I don't watch it, it's like, okay, nothing else happened and I didn't miss out on anything.
So do you think one bad finale episode can ruin the entire series?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can be it can even just be one episode, which is, I think, what we're hearing today about The Handmaid's Tale.
Sopranos, yes or no?
I'm not even sure I ever even watched that. I know what happened to it because I, for whatever reason, had dropped out on that earlier. But knowing how it ended, I don't mind that as much. Now, maybe it didn't give you the nice wrapped up conclusion that I know a lot of people would prefer, but still, it doesn't seem like they at least took it in a direction that nobody could, agree with at all.
Did you hate the Seinfeld finale?
I did hate that. Now, what's a little different is that it was a comedy. So each episode you could take for its own and it would be okay. A drama where it's all linked together and there's one whole story that is connecting it, that's a different thing. Dramas can't blow the series finale. It's got to be solid. A comedy, you get more forgiveness because it's like, all right, it was a bad episode. I forget about it. Now, it's kind of interesting, and I don't know if it was spurred on by what happened with the finale in The Handmaid's Tale, but Business Insider, they came out with their listing of the worst series finales of all time. Kind of looking through the list, and I forgot about some of these. There was a show, Killing Eve, that was very solid, and I invested in that. It had Sandra Oh in it, and it was really cool. This Jodie Comer, she played this hit woman, I guess, is what you call them. And it was an interesting dynamic for many, many seasons. And then just the way it ended, I'm like, you can't end it that way. That was terrible. I hated it. And again, I don't think if I would have known what I knew about the finale, I would go back and watch Finding Eve. Because you need it to be good. Some of the other ones they list, Game of Thrones, of course, is in there.
Gosh, that whole season did really, really, really suck. And I know it sounds hack to say that. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
But it really did.
It is true. Well, it was terrible writing in the fact that it was character betrayal. And that's just one thing as a writer you don't do. And it's just nobody acted the way they were supposed to act. And you're like, well, they wouldn't do that.
I agree.
You wouldn't like it. You'd feel weird about it.
I feel like some of the evil people became nice all of a sudden, sort of.
Yeah, it was bad writing. It was bad writing, and it ruined the whole thing. And I put that in Bloodline I put up as probably 2 of my most disappointing.
You do not like the ending of Bloodline.
No, I do not. It was terrible, rough. They even put the Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life. Now, I think that was the spinoff that they did on that, right? Or the follow-up?
I'm an OG Gilmore Girl.
Okay, you like the original series?
Yeah.
And that ended okay?
Yeah.
Yes. True Blood, they say lost its way. Terrible finale.
Too many monsters, I think. And I love monsters.
Yeah, I remember you loving that, and then you kind of being lukewarm on it by the time it wrapped up.
It just started.
I think Virginia jumped out of it. She stopped watching it.
She did. She loved it, which kind of surprised me. She's not usually into that kind of
that style of
show.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. It just kind of got weird in a way that wasn't cool.
Yeah. How I Met Your Mother. They listen. I never got into that show, but I've been hesitant to watch it because I had heard that it was so good. But I've heard so many conflicting things about the finale. I'm like, I don't know if I want to take that long ride. It was 7 seasons, something like that.
Have you watched any episodes?
No, not one. Okay. I know what the concept is lightly, and it's intrigued me, but I haven't jumped in for that reason.
And that's kind of the same way you are with The Office, correct?
The Office was starting too slow. It was a reverse. It wasn't, and I don't think I would watch past when, what's his name, leaves?
Yeah, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Once he gets off, I would be done with The Office because I've heard nothing but bad things about those other seasons.
The first season of The Office is kind of tough to get through for a lot of people.
Right.
I personally like it, but a lot of people do not.
I tried watching my wife, and she's a tough sell.
They get their groove in the second season.
Yeah, so that's why that didn't take off for me. Gossip Girl, show that my wife loved and has watched many times. They say had a terrible series finale, and then of course they list Dexter in there as well. That's who they had some of the worst.
Didn't Dexter have 2 terrible endings? Didn't they?
Yes.
It stopped.
They cannot finish. They cannot end that show. Yeah, when they brought it back, the last episode, again, character betrayal. He did something, and he's not. He's like Joe and you, where okay, you get it. They're a bad person by nature, but you kind of root for them. They may have a set of guidelines or a line that they don't cross, and he crossed that line. It betrayed his whole character. Like he wouldn't have done that. So yeah, I wasn't into that. Let me see. Walking Dead. Somebody said it really lost its way, got anticlimactic. And somebody said, yeah, Dexter ended exactly the way it was supposed to end, Kevin. He was a serial killer after all. Okay, that's an interesting spin on it.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I think you know it's a serial killer, but okay. I don't know. I like, it's kind of weird that you expect morals out of your serial killers.
I know a code.
I'm like, this guy had character, damn it. I'm fighting for something good here, but didn't go down. All right, so it sounds like Handmaid's Tale is not ending well. So just, I guess, brace yourself if you haven't gotten there yet. No spoiler alerts, but you may not enjoy. It'd be interesting to hear what everybody else's take is on that as well.
This is how we do. It's the KBJ Show.